Hi guys, welcome to Endurance X Aesthetics. In this video I am going to give you a super simple dumbbell only workout that will aid your strength, stability and control while you're out in the mountain. I'm going to be focusing primarily on more functional core exercises as these have much more carryover in a mountain setting, but first of all we're going to be doing the conventional crunch. We're starting with the crunch as it's one of the best core exercises for beginners to really feel their abs working when it's done right. It's ideal for the start of this workout as performing it will make sure that we turn everything on correctly before moving on to some slightly more complex exercises where it can be a bit more difficult to properly connect with those abs. Unlike how you may have performed this in the past, the key to this is to keep your lower back on the floor and then really roll the spine up. So you're aiming to crush or crunch, hence the name, the stomach area. Pause at the top before coming back down slowly and keep everything under control. So when a lot of people perform this exercise, they end up swinging and using mostly the hip flexors to actually perform the movement. We're not trying to touch the knees, we're not trying to touch the toes here, we're just trying to feel the abs working. So just focus on that crunch of the abs at the top of the movement there. Literally, if you can take your head and your shoulders off the ground and feel those abs working, that's more than enough. And you want to do about 2 to 3 sets of these, 8 to 12. Less if you start to feel any sort of ab burn before that. Our main goal with this exercise is just to build that mind-muscle connection with the abs. It's not to fatigue them in any way. After the crunches, we're going to stay on the mat for Russian twists. So these can be done with or without a dumbbell. Again, nice and controlled. We're not swinging the weight from one side to the other. Abs nice and tight, and really focus on them as you move from side to side. You want to take the focus off the arms, anything else that might be moving that weight, and make sure that you're getting a good connection with your core here. And a more advanced version of this would be simply to take your feet off the ground. Again, 2 to 3 sets of these, 8 to 12 reps on each side. If you're struggling to really feel these in your abs, or they're a bit too difficult, if you're struggling to remain upright enough to do them, anything at all like that, then switch them out for foot touches. Foot touches, personal favourite of mine, although that's largely because of the name, also called heel touches. Super simple, but they work the core in a very similar way to Russian twists. So again, make sure your lower back is flat on the mat, lift your head and shoulders slightly to engage your core, and then touch each foot alternately, nice and easy. Again, do it under control. We're not trying to fire from one side to the other quickly here. Just focus on that core throughout the movement. And again, 2 to 3 sets of these, 8 to 12 on each side, 10 to 15 if they feel too easy. I should point out as well that sets and reps will vary depending on what your individual goals and ability is. I can only give a generic prescription in this video. It also depends obviously what other work you're doing as well. Next, we're going to move on to dead bugs. And again, the focus is on keeping that lower back on the floor, legs at a right angle and arms straight up in the air. There's 3 main variations to this depending on your fitness level. Firstly, there's literally just lying in this position, just focusing on keeping that core tight and everything else in correct position. If that's too easy, bring your legs into it, so straightening one of them at a time and then returning to the initial position. Obviously, again, just make sure that you keep your lower back tight to the floor. If that's easy enough, bring your arms into it as well, sending the opposite arm back with each leg, and again, return to base. Play around with these. They're a fun exercise, but if you're new to them, they do take a little bit of getting used to. Again, generic prescription would be 2 to 3 sets, 8 to 12 reps, or if you're just doing the holds, 30 to 60 second holds. Next up, we have a fantastic exercise, the bird dog. Everybody should do these, regardless of what you're training for. So your core should be nice and engaged by now, maybe even slightly fatigued depending on your fitness level. So although this isn't entirely a core exercise, it should be easy enough for you to feel it playing its role here. So keep a nice neutral spine with this one and keep those shoulder blades back. Don't arch your back here. Extend one arm and the opposite leg at the same time, full extension, then return to base, opposite side and repeat. If this is too difficult, then just do the leg portion of this exercise, that's absolutely fine. It's a great all-round of this, it'll engage your lower back, your hips, your glutes, your abdominal muscles. It's a fantastic exercise for improving general body control and stability. And again, 2 to 3 sets of this, 8 to 12 reps each side would be your generic prescription. Now we're going to step outside for the final 2 exercises as I haven't got the roof space in here. So first up is the suitcase carry. It's incredibly important that you focus on bracing the core in this one and keeping your body upright, shoulders back, no twisting. It's very easy to just walk from A to B with the weight and miss out on all the benefits with this one. So concentrate, take things slowly. And lastly, the overhead carry. So exactly the same with this one, we want to maintain a nice tight core throughout the movement. Keep those shoulders back and stay upright with no twisting. For both this and the suitcase carry, you can hold a non-working arm out as well if it helps with balance. A little tip as well, just to keep things even, I always turn in the direction of the arm that isn't holding the weight. The reason for this, as opposed to doing it the other way, is if you were to turn in the direction of the arm that's holding the weight, you are a lot more likely to collapse your body position. So these last two I've found especially useful over the years for hiking. If they're done right, they're a great way to teach you to brace your core while you're hiking, which takes a lot of pressure off the hip flexors and lower back, which in turn helps prevent injuries. A lot of you might be suffering from tightness in the hip flexors or your lower back after a hike, and doing these exercises will help that greatly. It's a relatively low intensity workout this, but I'd recommend doing it no more than a couple of times a week, adding sets and weight as you progress. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop me a message or a comment and I'll be more than happy to help as best I can. And of course, thank you very much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please do subscribe for more like this, and I will see you in the next one.